Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode, I'm going to get into some really fun things about fan mail. So I went through archives and pulled a whole pile of really cool, letters and requests for dubs and then fan subs and that kind of stuff from back in the day. And I'm starting to sorting them out, okay, and putting them into the binders and stuff like that to kind of basically, you know, to organize them by name so that when certain names come up, then I might be able to look them up in the index and find out, how I interact with them. But as I'm going along, I'm noticing that there are different categories for these fan mail. So I'm basically going to go through them and go through each one by various different topics. Okay. So before I get into some of the examples and some of the things that are in these mails, I want to remind people to go down below and click like and click subscribe because that helps out the YouTube algorithm, as well as if you, have some comments and maybe some stories of your own about when getting started in anime and that kind of stuff. By all means, write it down below. I'd love to hear your story as well. Okay. If you'd like to support me financially, I do have the super thanks button below, so that you can click on that, as well as I do have the PayPal and Patreon links there. I have a whole now up to 15 episodes of subscriber specific content. And there's one now. I've also managed to find a whole pile of other neat things I'm going to go through. I managed to find the hentai catalog that I used to have in my store. So when people come into the store and need their hentai fix, yes, I have an entire binder sorted in alphabetical order for that. So again, one of the episodes I'm going to go through that manually and go through some of the titles and make my recommendations of some of the. Again, usually when people go through the binder, going, "Hey, is this thing really good?" And like, yeah, of course, there's what you got. You got girls that have things with blowing off clothes and tentacles and that kind of stuff. What can be there? That's all the good stuff is all in there. So so anyway, those type of episodes I obviously can't put on YouTube, but I can put in the subscriber section. So definitely you want to check that out. All right. So today's episode is about fan mail. So basically, back in the day, especially back in the time period. This is 1988 to about 1991 and into the 90s. The concept of getting mail electronically, especially before the internet as we know it, is really really difficult. A lot of people, on the various different forums and things, always comment that it was very difficult to get anime because if you didn't know somebody, there was really no way to get anime, right? The connections, the basically, if you basically had to know somebody in order to get to be in the know, right? So it's a or a friend of a friend of a friend type of thing, right? In some ways, okay. In other ways, if you manage to get your hands on a source, a lead, okay, then it continues, okay. So basically, in this episode, I want to go through some fan mail, and I want to outline some of the ways that people would have got in touch with me by just the way they wrote their letters, okay. And so I'm going to go through the different examples and show you not only just the various different types of mails I've gotten, but then you can also see where the source of their information is. Because obviously, there is no kind of quote internet, website as it were, right? Because even things like GeoCities and that kind of stuff wasn't invented at this time. There are, the standard poster and flyer type of a distribution, but that only works around Vancouver, right? That's usually used for our Vancouver club meetings and that kind of stuff, around here. But what happens to people who are just in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin or something like that, or Utah? How would you know where to get your anime from? And so we're going to go through some of the examples here of some people that in the past and how they've managed to get anime. All right. So, without further delay, let's look at some fan mail. Okay, so I'll start with the interesting letter from Scott Sandwick out of San Diego, California. And he writes in an interesting letter at the beginning, Dearest Sir and Assorted Marisuples. What a great start with that one. I would like to express gratitude for the time and services spent subtitling in the subtitling business. That being said, he'd like to ask for a couple tapes, specifically Maison Ikkaku Volumes 1 and 2. So again, basically another fan of our second series that we started to subtitle, which is Maison Ikkaku. Again, just working off the success that Orange Road was, we just continued doing that kind of similar thing with Maison Ikkaku. Now this time it wasn't so hard because we basically sourced the Laserdiscs copies of the Laserdisc from a Robert Gutierrez out of Rammer Project, and Daisuke actually liked the character Yotsuya out of the series, so he decided we actually got him to actually start subtitling it, unlike where Orange Road, where I really had to kind of twist his arm to kind of get him to get that one translated. But that was really good how we got that, and a lot of people obviously loved the Orange Road as well as loved Maison Ikkaku. All right, the next one is from a Jimmy Park out of Pasadena Heights, California. And he writes, I am the president of a small but growing Japanese animation club, referred to as the New JAC, which is basically what ours was, which was the Vancouver Japanese Animation Club, which is the VJAC. So yes, he's a Japanese animation club in Southern California. One of our members notified me to your organization's existence, and we had our sister organization are extremely interested in seeing the Orange Road. Okay, so basically this is another one of these, situations where a lot of people comment that the only way you get anime is you have to know somebody from somebody or a friend of a friend type of thing. So it's a lot of group communication. A lot of word of mouth sort of thing. So this is another example of the word spreading that Orange Road's available. And then of course he asks for the first 2 volumes of Orange Road. And again, so that way he can use those at his club meetings to show people this new subtitled anime that isn't out yet. The next letter is from William Benecki out of Boise, Idaho, and he writes, I am a grad student in Idaho trying to start an anime club. So, the Steph thing that he was doing in the OC, for example, right? Comic stars are very few here and have never heard the word anime, let alone subtitled videos, which are thus non-existent here. Which, again, you're in the middle of, Central Plain U.S., the very, very little Japanese influence or Asian influence, in that part of the country. So again, anything other than your typical, Marvel, DC, a little bit of independence, the comic book stores aren't going to carry a lot of Asian media or manga. So again, just that thing, and of course the videos, you're not going to find them at your, Blockbusters or Suncoast Video or anything like that. So it's going to be very, very difficult to find anything that resembles anime. Anyway, so he asked at the very bottom that he wanted some subtitled anime, some Patlabor, the Patlabor P1 series, Patlabor the movie, and Patlabor P2. So the first 2 volumes of the Patlabor TV series and that kind of stuff, and then of course the movie, right? And writes on the bottom, thanks, William Benecki, trapped in Idaho. And the thing I wanted to point out on this one is that I wrote at the bottom, so obviously, this guy's a really big fan of Patlabor. And at this time, getting prepared to go to San Diego Comic-Con with a new cosplay outfit, one of the things I did with a help from from Lau Martin from the Abbotsford Japanese Animation Club, we got together and we tried to make that police badge that's on the SV2 uniforms. Okay, basically it looks like a helmet in a blue crest with the word SV2 on it, right? And so we actually went out and got the made a mock-up of the image, and we took it to an embroidering shop. The places that make like baseball uniforms and does baseball caps and all that kind of stuff. And we took it to them and basically said, okay, hey, can you make up a bunch of masters and a bunch of these kind of badges, right? So that we can use them on our uniforms and for various different things, right? So we got a whole pile of these things made up. We had a bunch of test copies made out, to see what the size and scale would be, whether or not they'd work or not. So we had a bunch of all these things made up. And so I noticed at the bottom of the thing, as I wrote down, basically, I usually write down when I finish a person's tapes, I'll go pull up the original letter and I'll write down what I sent them and what particular date, just so it gives me a guideline to when I've actually sent them. But I noticed I wrote about here. I sent him back the 3 tapes that he asked for, which is the movie, Pat Labor the movie, P1, P2. But I also sent him a Pat Labor badge, because obviously he threw in an extra a few bucks, because of for donation. So I figured, okay, you know what? Because he did that, I'm gonna throw in one of our badges that we had sent him. And so that was one of the things we did there, right? Now I want to go to the next letter, okay? The next letter is from a Jerry Burchard out of Morgantown, Wyoming. And, I guess that's WV's West Virginia. So, yeah, sorry. So Morgantown, West Virginia. And he writes down, that he's, asking for a copy of Pat Labor P1. And what had happened is earlier, I guess the year, he ordered a copy of the Pat Labor, but they lost the tape. So, again, in this series, with the fact that we're using, post offices and that kind of stuff, it is highly possible, because we're not using tracking or anything, that, it gets lost in the mail, lost in the post office. Maybe Customs seized it for some reason, and, the guy at Customs is actually keeping it. Even though it's doesn't contain any illegal material, but he decides, this anime is pretty cool, so I'm gonna keep it. So that possibly happens. So anyway, so not only did I send him, I made a copy of this P1 tape and whatnot. I also sent him one of the Pat Labor badges. Okay. And so, just because, obviously, in consultation of what had happened and him losing the tape, I actually sent him, kind of a bonus with this thing. So again, these are one of the things that you can do when you're experimenting and doing all that kind of stuff. You actually end up, throwing in some goodies once in a while with some of the fan stuff. And again, that's whenever I do my anime giveaways, this is the kind of, thing, this kind of surprise that I want to give you guys. Whenever you get some anime and stuff sent to you, not only do you get a little bit of the things that you asked for, but also get a few surprises every once in a while as well. Just kind of like, hey, this is kind of really cool kind of thing, and sort of give you that sort of culture, okay, that we sort of had going at this time. Okay, so the next one is from Richard D. Slay out of Houston, Texas. And he basically, writes in and asks for a Gundam 0080, the whole entire series there. And then on this particular one, with the Gundam 0080, 5 and 6, I also put the original Soul Bianca 1 fan sub on that. And the third tape was going to be Tonari no Totoro, which is my neighbor Toro. Anyway, he just comments that he works as a writer for Anime no Shinbun, which is a fanzine out of Virginia. Okay, and he's a writer for that. So again, if I wanted to give him any information, for example, what projects we're working on, that kind of stuff, I could give it to him, and then he could actually update and write it into this next newsletter, which all the club members and that kind of stuff in the sort of the Virginia area would get this newsletter. Okay, so this is another sort of one of these how we pass information around using fanzines. Okay, again, I'd like to thank you for sticking with me for all these this time and getting to the to the meat and probably the best part of the episode right here is this letter here. This one's from a Patrick Laponte out of Saint Julie, Quebec. All right. Now, the name Patrick Laponte is maybe sound a little familiar. he works for, or does contributions to Protoculture Addicts. Okay, the magazine, anime magazine produced here in Canada. Um, and basically he's with that in crowd over there. Anyway, so he writes, first big thanks for the tapes and the information. I'm sending you back my double of quarter 1 through 12 in exchange for the copy episodes of 37 to 48. Okay. So obviously, what it is, I sent he asked for a whole bunch of episodes of Orange Road in 6-hour speed, right? So that's why you get 12 episodes per tape. But then what it is, I must have sent him 2 copies of 1 through 4, or like the first volume of the 4. And he sent that one back, and then I'm gonna redub it with volume 4. Okay. He also comments, I'm truly sorry that you no longer have a copy of the Orange Road movie. We ended up with an issue trying to subtitle Orange Road off of the rental tape for Orange Road. I think something damaged the copy that we got from the rental store. So, and instead we had to postpone making the subtitles for the Orange Road movie to Laserdisc. Okay, so we kind of had a working copy, but not as good as a copy as we normally would have. He comments, it's not often I get to see an anime in Japanese and understand the story, i.e., Wings of Anime has been the only exception. He comments, when I saw the movie off of the PA's copy, Protocol Jack's copy, so I sent them their office a copy of it. I was utterly moved, and so I'd say the same thing. Like a lot of people, when they saw the Orange Road movie, they kind of knew what was going to happen, and they maybe wasn't quite expecting it to happen that way, and it's still kind of a bit of a tragic ending. So, even though you knew it was going to happen, but a lot of people really enjoyed it. So that's it is a touching movie. So, he's very interested. Anyway, so what he does, he's saying that he's going to send 12 tapes now. So he's going to redo his entire Orange Road set from a 6-hour tape version on 4 tapes. He is now sending me 12 tapes to do it in 2-hour speed, so better, best quality possible. And then he's going to send off those copies of the 4 tapes that he got initially. He's going to give them over to a friend. So that's really nice, right? Because obviously here you are, you made a copy of it, you watched it, and you loved it so much that you're going to order a better copy of it, and then the copy that you have, just going to give it to a friend, and then that friend will obviously watch it, maybe get hooked on it, then maybe spread it on to another friend, that kind of thing. So that was really nice. But anyway, the thing I wanted to point out on this one is that, as I said, I write down the volumes that I sent out and the dates I sent them out. But you may notice that like not only did I send him all 12 volumes of tape, and I resent him his new version of the of the Orange Road, volume 4 in 6-hour speed to fix his double. But I also wrote down I sent him a copy of the movie on October 3rd, and it's probably because at the time he sent the letter, which is July 19th, okay, in that course of time, it took to do the dubbing. So you think August, September, then October, like beginning of October. So in the month of August and September, I managed to acquire a new copy of the Orange Road movie. Probably waiting for my lasers to arrive, and they finally arrived. I redid the subtitles for the Orange Road movie, and then I was able to slap it onto a tape and send it with his October 3rd order. For that thing. So again, even though you order something on July 19th and you sent the tapes for me to dub it, you may not get it right away, right? Because it takes time to do the dubbing and that kind of stuff. But in this sort of situation, I saw that, he loved the Orange Road movie that much, and he even attempted to watch it straight in Japanese without subtitles. I did him a favor. And put and sent him a copy of the movie, so that he could now watch it again with understanding. And again, those guys at Protocol Jax helped me a lot by mentioning me in their magazine, So at least I can do is at least help them out a little bit, and give them some extra perks once in a while too. Okay, so that's so thanks guys at Poor Culture Addicts. Okay, so now I just want to quickly go over some quick shout outs to some of the people that have sent in just normal letters to me. And the first one here is from Mark Browning. Now he's stationed on the USS Independence CV 62. So his FBO AP is out of San Francisco, California. All right. And he's just basically asking for some more Orange Road episodes. So it's something that's good that he can watch while he's on board and some help to kill some time. And there's some interesting stories about that I've got from people who served on ships and that kind of stuff watching anime. Again, I'll put that in another episode. But thank you very much. The next letter is from a young Sue out of the Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. And he's actually sent a really massive check. It's like $200, right? So he's buying 14 tapes plus the shipping for the 14 tapes, right? And it's like $6 a tape, as well as $6 for each for the shipping. And they're going to his anime fans in their area, and then writes, and a couple of students with poor English from Japan to boot. So it's like, okay, so I'm sure they're interested in the Japanese animation. Just they don't need the subtitles, obviously. So that's that really helps out. But yeah, he goes and asks for a massive amount of stuff. He wants Orange Road. He needs Freya of Legend of Lion, Yoju Kyotsu, Golf Force, Earth Chapter 2 and 3, Ariel 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And he even asks for the anime music videos of Volume 1. So my first volume of the AMV collection. He asks for that as well. So, all right. So thank you very much. Okay, the next one is from a Brian Danker out of Corbel, California. And he basically writes, thanks to you and Bruce Carlson, which is the person who helped me write the software for the subtitling. On a Mac, I now have enough episodes to realize that I have become totally addicted to Maison Ikkoku. So I think this is mine and my roommate's absolute favorite anime. Grin. So obviously he's really interested in Maison Ikkoku. So he basically orders one tape of Maison Ikkoku 3336, and then later on he obviously orders more. And he goes, you guys are doing an excellent job with this masterpiece. If there was only more anime of this quality. And of course, again, they'll make more. They'll make, obviously, they made Rama, they'll make Inuyasha, and etc. And here he orders another tape of Maison Ikkoku from him. All right? So, again, thank you, Brian. All right. I hope you found that very interesting. And basically, I will have more episodes with more content and more reflections of basically, what these fan mails, reveal about the history of anime and how they, occurred. And basically, I've covered a lot of these topics. Now it's just it's refreshing and you can see for yourself in the mail and the things that other people have commented about. Basically just reinforces, what I've been trying to tell you guys and trying to illustrate to you this environment. So this hopefully, fills it out better. Basically gives you that, a better picture, I guess you can say, of what it would be like to be an anime fan back in the 90s when we were just getting this anime thing started. All right. So again, don't forget to go down below, click like and subscribe for that, because there will be more. All right. So until next time, I will see you again.